let's take a look inside the box. There is a handy instruction sheet which tells you everything you really need to know. There are a couple things that are not included inside the box, which include some baking powder, some aluminum foil, and I think it needs mixing cups, but we'll explore that in a minute. The kit also comes with a set of colors. So we've got this black, a light pink, white, dark pink, a gold metallic, which to me looks a little greeny. Like, just for me, that's not my favorite color, but I'm not going to pick that knit because you could use any one you wanted. And then there is some silicone oil, and I did notice that it leaked a little bit because underneath, when you look at your canvas boards, my canvas board has a stain on it. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect it. Again, we'll find out. But yeah, some of the silicone oil leaked, but I'm glad that they included it. I'm just not thrilled that it leaked all over everything. They also included these gloves and some stirry sticks. So the next thing, it says to mix the paint 5 parts of paint to 1 part of silicone oil, in which case you need something to mix it in. So let's do that now. So it does tell you to protect your work surface, so I'm just going to use this piece of parchment paper. This is a plastic lid from a Sterilite container, and I feel like that will probably be enough to protect my work surface. So I also got some of these cute little cups that I'm going to use, and I'm going to go ahead and mix some paint. And I'm going to mix, I think, the black and the gold with the silicone oil to get the little cells and bubbles that we're looking for.
So in this sped up clip, I am showing you that I'm trying to empty out the acrylic paint into these little paint cups, and as it turns out, it is a very thick acrylic paint, and it needs actually more than a 5-to-1 ratio of silicone to thin it down to pouring consistency. Actually, it was more like half and half from what I could gather.
I also just want to point out, I tried to put on the gloves, and I don't know who these gloves are for, but they're not for me. They're so teeny weeny. So get your own gloves if you have medium-sized adult hands. Okay, so I feel like I'm ready to go. I kind of ignored the directions as far as like how much. I just kept adding silicone until I felt like it was an appropriate consistency to pour. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour on the top one here, because when it starts to run off the edge, I'm going to put that on the bottom because I don't like to waste paint.
And now I am actually trying the paint pour technique. As you can see, the paint is still awfully thick for that true pouring experience, especially the white. The white was very thick and it did not want to blend with the silicone very well. So I kind of did the best that I could, understanding that this is an inexpensive craft paint, it's an inexpensive kit, and how most people might use it right out of the box. I found that by kind of shaking the canvas around, I got some cool swirly effects, but there definitely was not enough paint to do both canvases. Really, maybe if I used the entire bottle, I would have enough for both, but again, it just seemed to be actually a lot of work to mix up all the paints and then try to get it the right consistency. So for me, there was a little bit of a frustration factor, and I ended up just mixing the silicone and the inks or the paints right on the canvas and kind of making an ungodly mess. So yeah, it is not real good to do that. Not exactly a recommended technique. I also set these aside to let them dry for 2 days before I kind of did my reveal, and you'll notice that actually it's still a little wet in one corner, which means I think that there was just way too much silicone being used, which is all my fault, granted.
So all in all, for $5, I'm not really sure I can complain. I think the little cup should have been included if you have to mix all the paint. It's really only enough for 1 and not 2. If you had a big party though, this might not be a bad craft for the kids to do. I'm not sure it would really hold up for adults, but stay tuned. I have another paint pouring kit review coming up. And in the meantime, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and as always, have a crafty day.